Chicken coops are not cheap, and I'm speaking from experience. But I wanted to see what would happen if I tried to build the cheapest possible chicken coop. But this won't be any ordinary chicken coop building video without some form of twist. So I'm giving myself a few ground rules for this potential build. Number 1, I can't spend any more than $1,000 in the entire chicken coop. Number 2, the chicken coop must be able to hold at least 8 chickens with room for additional chickens. And rule number 3, the coop design must not cut any corners. So with that out of the way, let's get started. If you know anything about building chicken coops or building in general, then you know that a decent amount of planning must go in to build the best possible structure. And planning something isn't as easy as just opening Microsoft Paint and creating a simple sketch of what you want the building to look like. No. It requires countless hours of digging for the cheapest and most effective parts, and of course going through trial and error. After around 90 minutes of trying to create the best possible design, I quickly realized how hard this challenge would be, but there was one place I could go to find all the answers to this extremely difficult question. The person who built both of my chicken coops, and the duck coop, my dad. He's built all the chicken coops. He's built a shed. He's even remodeled an entire house, and it's very clear he knows his stuff. So I asked him for a product list for a chicken coop that meets those requirements, and I got the list. And let me tell you, it's pretty lengthy. 45 2x4s, 6 sheets of T111 siding, 5 12-foot stretches of metal roofing, 1 10-foot ridge cap, 1 window, 2 hinges, 2 1-gallon buckets of paint, 7 sheets of 2-inch foam, and 6 sheets of whiteboard. Yeah, safe to say this isn't the shortest product list ever made. Now that we got the product list out of our way, it's time to actually map out the place and the combination that gives us the answer to the equation. What is the cheapest possible chicken coop? Now, when I looked at the material list, I panicked. Very obviously. But what would be the best price I could come up with? Here's what I came up with. But when you do the math... Oh, come on. Why? No. $1,020. Just $20 above the price limit. This was quite the way to shatter an ego. To be off by that little... We were just 102% of the goal, which does go against rule number 1, unfortunately. Well, back to the drawing board. Wow, quite the way to end out day number 1. Well, let's see if a second attempt will do the trick. This time I'll only use one brand, so getting screenshots is easier. But here we go. Oh, I decided to remove windows, since they aren't really that necessary. I woke up this morning feeling much more refreshed and ready to start finding a solution. However, was attempt 2 successful? Nope. But by how close I was, it was excruciating to look at. $1,004. I'm not even kidding. Wow, what a way to ruin my day. Now it's starting to feel impossible, and the 1,000 barrier just felt impossible to go below, especially with such high stakes, like building something reliable, not just throwing some wood together and calling it a day. At this point, it felt easier to buy my chicken Rogue an all-new Hellcat than to actually break this barrier, and Rogue can't even drive, so imagine giving her a car meant for street racing. But of course, there's a third time, and third time's the charm, right? After getting a measly 11 hours of sleep and feeling somewhat refreshed, I flipped on my PC expecting one of two things: failure and defeat. A fairly common emotion, especially since this is much harder than any of my math work. No, seriously, what the heck is this? So I opened up the website that I was using to find all the materials, and then I found these prices. 2x4s, $180. T111 siding, $246. Roof, $100. Ridge cap, $8. Door hinges, $12. Red paint, $48. Foam, quite possibly the most expensive on this list, $378. And it all comes down to the price of the whiteboard, $11. And now it's time for the addition. At this point, my heart was pounding. Did I finally get it? Was the barrier that took countless hours of research and math finally over? It all came down to that one addition problem. $983. Finally, after 9 hours of research, I finally found the answer. Now comes the even harder part, editing this down. Hey guys, if you couldn't already tell, this was a 2,000 subscriber special. Even though it was months overdue, I still wanted to post it because I thought of this idea and said, I may have just struck gold. Either way, let's keep growing to 3,000, 4,000, or maybe even my dream goal, 100,000 subscribers. Even though it'll take many years to pull that feat off, it's still possible, so enjoy the ride, everyone. Now, let's get to the real outro. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video on the channel. My chicken Loudmouth and PETA shouldn't be in that bush. But I'll tell you one thing for sure. These aren't the chickens we're talking about today. Today we're talking about my baby chickens, or there's multiple ways you can call them. You don't even call them baby chickens anymore. They're like 21 weeks old at this point. They're probably going to lay an egg. Because this video is going up on my first day of vacation. They're probably going to lay sometime during that. So poor timing on my part. But I don't care. So let's go up there and film a quick video about them. Alright, so right around the corner are my baby chicks, and you could already hear them coming from a mile away. Now there are a couple in here that I am a little bit concerned are roosters. I'll show you one real quick. We haven't heard any crowing from out here. You see that one with the bigger comb right there? That is our possible rooster. That right there is possible rooster number 2. That's Puff, the one right up there at the camera. She could be a rooster. But I'd say there's probably about a 90% chance she is, and I'd say there's about a 50% chance that one chickie I showed you about a minute ago isn't a rooster either. So let me give you a little bit of a tour of the yard, a little bit of scoop in the coop, if you will. Alright, so these chickens are following me just like any other chickens would. And don't worry, even if that rooster was a rooster, he ain't that aggressive. In here is the chicken coop with nesting boxes. And I hear you about to say to me, right over here, oh, that's a real egg, man. Well, you complain about them not laying eggs. That's a fake egg. And if you're wondering, oh, there's a fight breaking out down there. I know I caught it in about the same quality as they'd record school fights in back in the day. But you can see how this is actually labeled fake. Oh, it's down there again. It's the 2 Easter eggers down there, man. So yeah, it says fake on it. So that right there means that that chicken egg isn't real. And all you chickens are gonna move, because I can't use that ramp. It would collapse. Even though I'm not even that heavy, it would still collapse even if I was like 10 pounds still. These chickens are pretty much limit. Yeah, these chickens are becoming much more friendlier and tame. I think our first one's about to lay is this black copper Marin right there. Even though Marins typically wait a little bit to lay, they will typically be there pretty soon. So I'll give you a little bit more of a tour of the yard. You can see over here how this was definitely a building site for something. I hear you asking, why is there so much gravel in their yard? Well, up at the shed over there, one story tall, there's some gravel over there and all that whatnot. This was actually used to construct one of the ramps that we can get into the shed, because there's 2 access ways, a garage door and those 2 doors. And back in 2020, yeah, we had to do all that. There's weeds in there, there's some logs in there, and I'll show you a little bit more around the yard before we jump right into the classical type of this video where we give them some treats and it'll be a little bit of an ASMR sort of thing. So if you're watching this at night, you gotta try to go to sleep. Yeah, no, this isn't relaxing ASMR. Get used to it. Get used to farm life. Oh, that's my owl figure right there. It's a great way for keeping hawks out. But if you have a chicken like Falcon, the hawk will automatically be attracted to the yard and repel it. Alright, so we're back down here trying to get Loudmouth right back in the yard. Maybe show him a little bit of love and support over here, man. Anyways, get back into your yard, Loudmouth. Now I'm gonna go feed the baby chickies, because why wouldn't I? Alright, you're about to see about 2 weeks worth of training and baby chickens go right to use over here as I walk over here. I'm about to show you that yes, you can train chickens like a dog. Chicky chicks! See, they're already coming over. You can hear them, know that I'm gonna give them some treats. Told y'all chickens I'd be right back with something for y'all. So here you guys go. There wasn't really anything left in here anyways. So yeah, I don't care. There's literally like nothing left to begin with in here anyway. Fighting. puffin of an Easter egger. Should I name you Bitey because you bite my camera? That was a terrible joke. She's investigating the camera. She's gonna keep trying to bite it. That'll make a pretty entertaining short. She won't stop, yo. In this video, I'm going to be teaching you how to raise meat chickens in about 5 minutes. Not precisely, but around 5 minutes. So let's get into this video, guys. Now we're going to start by talking about selecting that perfect chicken breed. Now there's obviously a couple you can go with. Most people go with the Cornish hens, which are usually those white meat chickens. You know, the ones that just about everybody uses either for stock footage or really for anything else. But for us personally, we used Freedom Rangers as they're a bit more friendly. They have a bit more of a hands-on experience, but I'll get into more of like what you should do with them in the next clip. But yeah, you want to make sure you're selecting the right breed. You can get a mixture of both. I personally found Freedom Rangers to be way easier to work with though, so that's pretty much my personal experience with these chickens. Be sure to comment down below if you've had these before and which ones you'd likely choose. So yeah. Now this is a rule I want everyone to take note of, so if you're watching this video, maybe taking some notes, maybe this is one I want you to include in big text. Don't name the chickens. Some of them only live for like 5 or 6 weeks. Here's a general tip. As I just said, don't name those chickens, man, because if you do, you'll be really disappointed when you have to slaughter a chicken named, I don't know, Cute Chicken 63. So, yeah, make sure you don't name them. That's a general rule of thumb, but obviously name the egg layers if you need to. Now we're going to begin talking about brooder life. So, when they're in the brooder, you're going to realize they're going to grow up way faster than egg layers if you've had egg layers before. Don't be afraid if by the first week they're about as big as your egg layers are at like 5 weeks. Because those chickens are bred to grow up fast, specifically for the reason why they're here, basically. So, this is one thing I want you to take note of with these little chickies, is that they will grow up fast. So, if you want those cute chicken videos or stuff like that, film them for the first like 3 days. That's before they begin their phase of like rapid growth. And there you go, you got your chickens. And the brooder life, I want you to keep them in there for around maybe 2 to 3 weeks, or around the time when the temperature gets warm out. Now, instead of dropping the brooder by 5 degrees every week like you do with the chickens, or 1 degree every day like you do with the ducks, which is equating for about 7 degrees every week, you want to drop the brooder temperature by about 5 degrees every day, starting on day 3, because that's when their feather development will gradually begin to pile in, and there you go. You got some happy little baby chickens. And the next part of this video will teach you what about chicken coops you're going to need for these types of chickens, because they're going to need different needs. Have you ever heard of a hoop coop before? Well, if you haven't, I'm going to explain it to you, but if you have, this should be basically like me reteaching everything you're going to need to know about them. They're obviously mounted on the ground, and they have the capability of moving very quickly, and the chickens can easily adapt to move with them. So it's very light on the ground, typically around maybe 90 to 175 pounds. However, sometimes they're way heavier than that. Usually they can be even moved by the hand. Now inside, it's basically like the outside, except with a little bit of a tarp over the top. The inside gets a long roosting bar, and behind that roosting bar is usually a feeder to help feed the chickens. You'll also get access to grass, and it'll help them move about every other day. Gradually move them, and they will typically move along with it because they don't want. And don't worry, if one gets caught in the back, you could just push it back just a little bit to help save the chicken. It won't like really badly scar them, don't worry. And just a quick reminder that when you're outside and you have a hoop coop, you're going to want to take the tires off of it, or else what's going to end up happening, or else it's going to repeat what happened to one of our black sex-linked chickens, and she passed away because of a fox attack. By this point, about 7 to 11, maybe possibly even 12 weeks have passed, and now it's time to do the unthinkable. It's time to begin butchering the chickens. Usually you take specific tools. I'm not really going to go through it because that will take less than 53 seconds. That'll take more than 53 seconds to explain. I only have 53 more seconds to make this clip, so yeah. There won't be... If you want a separate video, be sure to tell me in the comments below about that, but be sure to document how well your journey went right at the end. Was it hard to say goodbye? Or usually you don't really spend a lot of time with this. The one that's happened, it wasn't really a big impact for me personally, but for other people it might be. So now, with about 10 seconds left, I'd like to remind you to click the video on the screen. It's my second iteration of how to raise egg chickens, okay? If you found this video a little bit depressing, that video will cheer you up a little bit. Anyways, I'm out. Well, nerds, did you really think we were going back home, bro? We've been here since Christmas morning. Where are you going? Well, we're going back to Miss Greycloud's house for, I don't know, to get like flat out drunk and have some drinks and watch the New Year's thing. I don't know. We're waiting for 2024 to come down and see what happens. Oh, do you know where Falcon is right now? Oh, he's supposedly at the gym, but like I highly doubt it. How many times has he actually went to the gym? Probably none. I'm just thinking about taking his membership and transferring it to me, so that way I can actually get a free gym membership pass. But of course, I don't care, to be honest. I just need him back home because we have to get everyone to get to Miss Greycloud's house tonight. And of course, Falcon needs to take his little truck back out, of course. But I mean, that's cool and all. I don't really care, to be honest. So, let's go get Falcon. Let's go see where he is. Maybe he... You know, I have a good idea. Let's just check the local McDonald's to see. Ah, yes, nothing like driving through Lovey Hills after definitely going to the gym and not spending the entire time wasting my life savings on McDonald's. I wouldn't ever do that. That's crazy, though. I mean, downtown Lovey Hills looks pretty nice, though. I gotta say, though, I'm never going to that stupid gym, bro. Miss Greycloud's stupid for giving me that gift because I'm just going to the local McDonald's, like wondering where I'm at, bro. That's crazy. Well, I guess Miss Peeper's gonna be pretty mad when she... Alright, so Falcon, what were you doing today? Well, I went to the gym, and then I decided on my way home I was gonna go pick up something to eat. I got some Chinese food. Yeah, right. I could smell the McDonald's from here, bro. Come on, bro. You can do better than that, bro. We know you ain't going to the gym. We all know you're just sitting at the local McDonald's the whole time. If you don't know, I put a tracker in your shoe this morning. That, of course, I paid for. So, good luck, Falcon. Anyways, yeah. We're going to Miss Greycloud's house yet again in, like, an hour to celebrate New Year's and get ready, my rooster thing. So, I don't know, get ready. But I'll tell you one thing, I am definitely not ready for them to come over. I'm still cleaning up from Christmas, like, let alone having them come over for New Year's. This is a big mistake. You know, I should go over to Miss Peeper's house, actually, this year instead of... That's a good idea next year, I'll just do that, I don't care. So, this sucks. I have to finish cleaning up this entire house. Which means, at this point, I am better off hiring someone to do this, so... Well, this sucks, I guess. Why am I talking to myself? I have no clue, to be honest, bro. I am the only person in this house. Alright, chickens, get ready to get to Miss Greycloud's house in, like, 30 minutes. So, pack up your stuff for, I don't know, a couple hours. There'll be dinner there. There will be just about everything we're gonna need there, so... Get ready. Alright, guys, let's roll out. Yo, BCT, I'm thinking about going outside there and having a little bit of fun out in the outdoors. What is it supposed to do tonight? Well, let's check the news real quick. Alright, it's actually not a bad idea. Let's do this. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Chicken Live. Tonight we're talking about a lot of New Year's themed stuff, so get ready for the brand new year to unveil itself in around 6 hours. Anyways, I know a lot of people want to go outside and do whatever they want, so get ready for a long night. And also, we need to check out the weather, of course. What's going on out there? Up in the atmosphere. Well, let's take a look. Right now in the city, Lovey Hills, it's 63 degrees. Downtown, it is 77 degrees. In Teeper Hills, it's 83 degrees. So I'd say we're anywhere from around 65 to 85. And tonight's lows will be dipping down to around 60, 58 in Lovey Hills, and 57 in other regional locations. And I'd say we're gonna have a clear night to go outside. Now, here's the one thing I want you guys to do tonight. If you're gonna do a little bit of drinking, don't drive, please. Like, just call in an Uber or something like that. Please don't drive, man. You wanna know? I don't want a repeat of what happened last year. I hate my job so much. I really do. Alright, that had to be hands down probably the worst news report I think I've ever seen. Because, like, did you know he already said at the end, yo? I mean, it's crazy, bro. He literally just whispered, I hate my job, randomly. Like, we do not care that you hate your job. Just resign, bro. That's an easy way to get yourself fired and clowned on the internet. So yeah, well, I guess we gotta pack up our stuff. And remember, Lovey, if you're gonna bring something, don't wait till the last second. But at least I don't have to trot through snow today if that happens. That's pretty cool. At least all the snow's gone. It's so warm I could probably go for a swimmer now. You know, that's not actually a bad idea. Let's go for a swim real quick. Let's do that. Whoa, where do you chickens think you're going? Well, Miss Peepers, we were just gonna go for a swim. Did you know? Because that news report was crazy and it pissed us off so much, we just want to clear our minds in the pool. Well, a news report doesn't affect you anyway, so no, you're not going for a swim. Miss Greycloud has a pool anyway, and hers is not 76 degrees. I just got a text saying the pool's open and it's 87 degrees, so I think you can go there, okay? Just patiently wait until we leave in an hour, so, I'm just chilling out here. You can just chill out here, you know? It's perfect weather to do that tonight. You could also go for a little bit of a swim. Just remember, you might be a little bit cold, so bring a nice change of clothes. Oh, wait, I forgot we're chickens. We don't care about that stuff. So, just wait until we get to Miss Greycloud's house to go for a swim, okay? Alright, fine, I guess. That's cool. Whoa. What the cluck? What are you doing? I'm just going for a swim. Bro, you spent the last, 3 weeks playing that stupid video game up in your bedroom. Well, I deserve a swim every now and then. Bro, just because it's 85 degrees doesn't give you the permission to go swimming out in that pool, bro. Well, I guess I'm gonna go back and play. Well, tonight I can go for a swim, but right now I need to clean this pool, bro. It's dirty. Get out of there. You're gonna get yourself like 30,000 different infectious diseases. Now, just get out of there, bro. Get out. It's not fool. It's not cool. Did you just say fool? You are one with the cluck. Anyways, get out. Just get out. I'm actually surprised I'm still letting you live with me, but at least you're not as bad as Falcon. That's for sure. Alright, chickens, I just got the text from this Grey Cloud saying we're okay to begin leaving now, and it takes like 26 minutes to get there, so I figured we all just leave right now. Alright, let's get going, everyone. Everyone get to your respective cars, let's go. Chop, 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 bro. Time is of the essence. Also, love you. Ms. Grey Cloud said there's gonna be your Christmas present is gonna be waiting for you when you get there, so, if that maybe hypes you up a little bit to go, then it is. Ms. Grey Cloud said you'll love it. Alright, cool, let's go. Bro, what are you all standing out here waiting to do? What are you guys doing, bro? We have to go, like, right now. Stop standing out here, bro. Falcon, get off your phone. You shouldn't be on your phone while driving, okay? I'm not even in my car yet. I don't care. Just get ready to go, okay? Bro, Falcon, why are you calling me? I'm literally driving right now, okay? I'm on Highway 63, literally the most dangerous highway in the entire city. Now, stop calling me, bro. This is the first time I'll ever pick up for you, okay? What do you want from me? Well, I was just wondering, you want me to go get you McDonald's? Bro, no, I'm not going to that stupid place, bro. Come on, I'm not going to McDonald's right now, bro. I'm on the highway. I'm trying to get to Miss Grey Cloud's house. She should be doing the exact same thing, too. Hanging up on you, bro. That rooster just represents how stupid some things can truly be sometimes, bro. That's crazy. I hate it so much. Bro, that was crazy, Waldo. You agree with that? No, that was the most unfunniest joke I think I've ever heard in my entire life. I'd be better off walking to Miss Grey Cloud's house than driving with you, or unfunny thing, bro. You suck, Falcon, bro. At this point, I'm gonna take this truck as my own at this point, bro. I cannot live with you driving, bro. You're truly unfunny. Just stop, bro. You're not him. You're not, okay? Well, I love being him, bro. Just stop, bro. You're not funny, okay? Just, please. For the sake of mine and your ears, just stop, please. Yo, bro, this song goes crazy right now, bro. Do you agree, Miss Peepers? Yeah, of course. The song is just it. I don't know what it is about the song. It's crazy, bro. I heard BCT was also listening to this song earlier, and then Falcon interrupted it by calling, so she had to restart the whole thing over. She wasn't that happy, not gonna lie. Yeah, I don't think anyone would be too happy if Falcon calls him asking for McDonald's. He did already here, and I'm so glad I just hung up, bro. I've never listened to a word that thing says, bro. You know what, for New Year's, he better start paying me rent, bro. Or else he's evicted. That's crazy. Alright, chickens, go ahead and go knock on the front door. Miss Grey Cloud should answer in a couple seconds. Once she's, you know, done doing whatever she's doing, she'll probably answer, so get ready. Are you kidding me? Alright, chickens, come on in. It's like 7:30. Everyone's gradually piling up over here, so get ready for a cool little New Year's party. The pool's open, it's ready. I cleaned it for all of you guys, so yeah, enjoy, everyone. I like how this is like literally the main attraction of the night. Like literally everyone in here just sitting at the pool and like literally just chilling. I wonder when dinner's gonna be ready. Well, Miss Grey Cloud's over at the grill. She's doing a little bit of barbecue tonight. There's gonna be some burgers, there's gonna be some dogs. It's gonna be crazy. I cannot wait to see what actually comes of it. And of course there's gonna be potato chips, there's gonna be onion rings and fries, and everything's gonna be ready tonight. It's gonna be crazy. I cannot wait to see what all comes out of this night. It's gonna be a nice, beautiful night. The breeze is crazy. Hey, BCT, could you please stop being all poetic? I can't understand it. Falcon, can't understand anything. Just like you seriously can't understand the fact that you're on the verge of getting evicted from our house. Well, let me be the one to say that I was the reason why Mrs. Peepers had a great success last year. I think that was the funniest joke I've heard all day, Falcon. You literally just sat in your room while I was working a lot. And being a professional entrepreneur with BCT and Lovey and all my friends means that I can make a rack just about every day while you're just sitting in your room. I've given you free housing ever since I became an entrepreneur because I felt bad for you. I saw you on the side of the street and Now you're just lazy. You used to work a nice job. You used to make like 60K a year. But now you're just sitting all day. Falcon. What, Miss Grey Cloud? How is the gym going? I'm gonna be real with you. I haven't entered that place once. Are you real, Falcon? Are you actually saying that you haven't went to the gym once? Yes. I like how it wasn't even that hard for you to admit it. We all know you spend the time going to McDonald's. I already knew that. Because, along with Mrs. Peepers, we've all been tracking your every move with the special software that we implemented into your shoes that Mrs. Peepers paid for, of course. So, yeah, good luck getting out of that. How do I remove that thing? Well, it's too late, Falcon. We already know you're not going to the gym. I'm transferring it over to Miss Peepers, so tomorrow she can go right on over to the gym and begin lifting, while you sit on the couch all day. Well, I might get another job, maybe working at McDonald's. It'll be cool for you because I know you're spending your entire life savings there. Alright, chickens, now that it's 11:58 p.m., let's all gather around the TV and watch the ball drop. Falcon, I'm not talking about watching sports. I'm talking about the New Year's. Bro, we don't live in New York. We don't even live in the U.S. We live above them. I mean, you have a point. Let's watch the, I forgot, we watch the clock tick. That's what we do on live TV. We just watch the clock tick. Well, this stupid guy earlier today who literally had a mental breakdown on TV talking about he hates his job so much is gonna be able to host that tonight, bro. How? That's my question. I saw that clip as well. It was crazy. I'm not surprised you got pissed off because of it. It's crazy. Alright, and in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. It is now 2024. I hope you achieved all your goals. Actually, I hope you failed with all of them. I really hope you did fail all of them. But other than that, though, I really do hope you had a great year. I really hope you did have a horrible year. Don't mind what I'm saying. Okay, we don't talk about what I'm saying, okay? Alright, and with all that being said, 2023 is over. That year sucked. 2024 should be better. Hey buddy, you're fired, bro. I heard what you said earlier. I heard what you're saying now, bro. Get out of my news broadcast room, bro. Are you serious, bro? This is the only way I can pay the bills, bro. Alright, bro. Well, I'll give you your 2 weeks notice right now, so I expect you to be gone by the time I see you tomorrow. So no more. You're not coming here tomorrow. We already have 3 people that are eagerly waiting to take your role. So get out. Get out of my room. Get out right now. No one cares about you. Get out. Leave now. Bro, that's quite the way to begin the New Year's. I bet he's probably drunk out of his mind, but, I don't know. Bro, why is Falcon shaking so much? Have you not seen how much he had to drink earlier today, bro? Well, of course he is. I think he took the phrase popping champagne a little bit too seriously over there. I'm not that surprised, to be honest. Anyways, I think we gotta go. But, Lovey, weren't you gonna get your gift? Yep. Well, come with me to the garage where I keep all my gifts, Mrs. Lovey. I'll be with you real quick. Alright, Lovey, and as you can see, your Christmas present is right there. So, well, it looks like you don't have to deal with anyone tonight. If you want, you could bring Waldo with you so you don't have to deal with Falcon. I bet he's gonna try to drive tonight anyway. Well, I'm gonna have to tell him Waldo's gonna have to drive. I don't think he's gonna be too happy with you, though. Alright, well, Merry late Christmas and Happy New Year's, I guess. Thank you, Miss Grey Cloud. Anyways, I think we gotta head home now, bro. Falcon's tripping out of his mind. Bro, Falcon, you have to sit on the passenger seat with Waldo, bro. You cannot drive home. Have you seen how badly you are drunk right now, bro? Did you not hear what the news guy said earlier today? You should not be driving with this condition. Me no care. Bro, did you just say me no care, bro? You shouldn't say I don't. You should say I don't care, not me no care, bro. Just, please. You shouldn't drive. Oh, this rooster, man, really stupid sometimes. Well, Falcon, no one cares, so... Well, I guess get pulled over at your own risk. Anyways, we're all leaving. Bye. Well, today is January 20th, and you know what that means? That's my channel's 3rd year anniversary. And this is my first video doing a special one, and yeah, so last night, to celebrate the special occasion, I decided to do a community poll that had 4 potential options with another option possible as well. And the option that won was this one, so sit back, relax, and enjoy. And also, it's really cold out. Today's a perfect day to be recording this. Anyways, let's begin. Subscribe. Born sometime in late January 2021, Grey Cloud became one of the most influential chickens in the pet flock. Even to this day, she's still remembered. Now, she was moved out of the pet flock at, I'd say, somewhere between 8 to 16 weeks old, sometime in May 2021. I think it was May 15th, but I don't really remember too much. After that point, though, she was finally moved into the pet flock, along with 3 other chickens, which we'll discuss on later, except for one of them. We won't discuss the rooster. But, of course, she was moved into the pet flock. She was fairly happy with doing that, and then, over time, she progressively got turned into one of the most friendliest chickens in the pet flock. She became really well known for having fluffy legs, along with a fluffy pattern tone on her feathers, which really made her a really special chicken. And in turn, she laid beautiful navy green eggs that were definitely a great part of my eggs at breakfast. Unfortunately, during the July 2023 attacks in the pet flock, she unfortunately passed away, which was about almost 8 months ago, I'd say now. So yeah, that's pretty unfortunate. Born into the farm flock on the exact same day as Grey Cloud, along with all those other little Easter egger chickens, Sprinkles was finally born, and nothing crazy happened to her, although she was involved with my younger sibling's school project, which is why we ended up moving her into the pet flock. During this time in the pet flock, she met our rooster Falcon, who I decided to not discuss in this video because it would take up way too much time, because he has a lot of interesting lore. But besides of that, the chicken, unfortunately, I have 2 possible theories as to what happened on the very dreadful day of March 18th, 2022, which was when the chicken either A, flew off the roosting bar like a complete and utter moron like the chickens really are, and got a kind of a cut on her leg that sort of flew under the radar and unfortunately got infected, which created Bumblefoot, or B, it was my idiot rooster Falcon who decided to act like a moron on that very day and pushed her down to the ground too hard and unfortunately ended up wounding her a bit, which ended up getting infected and of course flew under the radar. Unfortunately, this injury would become lethal, and she would unfortunately pass away on the very fateful day of May 29th, 2022, which I still haven't yet made a video on, and I'll probably make a 2-year anniversary video this year. March 20th, 2023, a very important day in my chicken's history. And of course, this was the day that this chicken was born with the original 9. These 9 chickens would later go on to be the most infamous chickens on my channel's history. And of course, this chicken would later go on to be the big leader, but was also the first Easter egger to lay an egg, which was a huge accomplishment for the pet flock. But once Mrs. Peeper stepped down sometime in, I'd say maybe mid to late 2022, like summertime maybe, early fall, like August through October 2022, was when Mrs. Peepers decided to step down from role, and Abro got the new top spot on the pet flock, and then to this day she still leads the pet flock, and she is still alive. Also born in the year 2020, BCT became one of the most infamous chickens in the pet flock history. Not only because of her role in My Chicken's Christmas and My Chicken's New Year's, but also because she would also go down in history of being one of the most calm and tame chickens in the entire pet flock, as well as also being the first one to show some signs of respect to the humans. The other chickens just didn't really care until BCT began doing it, and the other chickens realized that BCT was not crazy, and that we're actually there to help, not do harm. BCT was truly one of the first chickens in the flock to show that chickens are one of the most respectable animals, and truly an amazing accomplishment in the chicken's history. But unfortunately, as well as on the July 2023 attacks, BCT is no longer with us. Chicken Burger, one of the most interesting and intricate chickens I think I've ever seen in my entire life. An Easter egger with very little to talk about for the first couple months, but then afterwards she would very, 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 very quickly go on to be a very weird chicken. First of all, she would always try to escape the yard to lay an egg, which is almost something I'll never see with a normal chicken. She tried very hard, and we ended up having to clip her wings, and when she did that, and she realized she couldn't fly, she kept trying to phase through the fence, which of course didn't go our way. She did this for about a week during laying eggs season, and then afterwards she kind of calmed down, but then in October 2020, we got a big rainstorm over here, and Chicken Burger's feathers got pretty wet, which is where that infamous annoyed Chicken Burger face comes from. And then she would become one of the most friendly chickens and probably one of the cutest chickens for the longest time. Unfortunately, however, in April 2023, her moranicness got to her, and some moron fox came out of nowhere and attacked her and unfortunately dragged her away. You can tell by the drag path, which I don't have a picture for unfortunately, that she was definitely dragged away by something small but yet effective. I have a couple possibilities as to what could have gotten her. It was either A, a fox, B, a bobcat, C, a possum, or D, a skunk. It could be any of those. Comment down below your most likely option for that. On the 20th of March 2020, an annoying chicken was born into the pet flock. Her name was Loudmouth. She was really loud and wouldn't really shut up. She kept running her mouth about how she wanted to be put back in the brooder when someone was about to grab another chicken. I'm not joking. She was kinda like that. Fortunately, before she moved outside, she would finally get over that addiction of being the most annoying chicken possible. However, not before gaining the name Loudmouth. She was one of the few chickens that would actually lay eggs over the winter of 2021, the really cold one. To this day, Loudmouth still remains as one of the remaining few chickens from the old pet flock, which is very unfortunate to say, because there should be 9 chickens left, but as we'll find out later, not a lot of them are left. So Loudmouth is one of the remaining ones of the original pet flock. Let's give Loudmouth a quick round of applause. Now, the lore behind Q isn't really the greatest, and she's just your typical chicken, so it won't really make a big portion of this video, but it'll cover a couple seconds. For starters, I don't really think she's actually a Buff Orpington. It's actually another breed I'm pretty sure called a Buff Rock, or a Buff Wyandotte. I don't quite yet know exactly what breed of chicken Q is, because she is a differing feather tone from the other chickens, which is a bit darker. But it's nothing too crazy until you look at her beak and legs. Most Buff Orpingtons will have a white leg, like we'll find out with the next chicken. However, this chicken had a yellow beak and yellow legs, which makes you question and wonder, is she actually a Buff Orpington? You can leave your thoughts about that in the comments below. But other than that, Cute is just an average Buff Orpington with not too much to talk about, other than the fact that yes, her name is not contradictory. It is very much true. Lovey, one of the most infamous chickens I think I've ever had on this channel. She was obviously born with the rest of the chickens in 2020, but unlike Cute, did not have yellow beak or legs, but they're some of the lightest feathers and color for a Buff Orpington. I don't think I've ever seen a Buff Orpington with that light of a coloring. But she was also one of the friendliest chickens along that. She carried along the trait of purity, and of course would end up being one of the cutest chickens ever. One day, back in May 2020, I was just chilling in the chicken yard. I was on my phone because I was watching the chickens because I saw a hawk earlier that day. Maybe it was June, I don't remember. It was like 4 years ago, whatever. I was sitting in the yard and I was on my phone, right? Because I was just bored. I wanted to see something. I wanted to go on there and just chill. You know, texting back and forth with my friends. That was it. And then Lovey comes over, making a peeping sound, and I start petting her. Because any sane person, whenever they see a chicken walking towards them, would at least attempt to make some form of communication with them. And for that was me giving her some massages. The chicken obviously accepted, and would just become one with the ground. It was a bit awkward, but it was one of the first signs that Lovey was one of the greatest possible chickens. There was a lot of lore between then and June 2023, but we're just going to skip, because I don't want this video to be 36 minutes long. But unfortunately, that day came, and over 80,000 views across multiple different channels. The legend Lovey, unfortunately, did not make it past that day. She was killed by a red-tailed hawk at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which would be one of the worst case scenarios for anything anyone could possibly ever ask for. If you want more into the Lovey lore, you could check out the iCard above. Also part of the original 9 chickens comes Summer. Enter this chicken and you will automatically realize why her name is Summer. With the dark feather pattern and the ability to absorb sun and also create ridiculously hot temperatures, that is why this chicken got her name. I don't know why, but she's one of the most interesting barred rocks I think we own. She has the darkest feather tone of all the other barred rocks, and on top of that, she also has these weird shimmers that you'll really not often see on these barred rocks, which makes her another one-of-a-kind chicken. She's also one of the most chill chickens you'll ever meet. Like, she won't really let you pick her up, but like, she'll be one of the most chill chickens I think you could possibly ever ask for. Like, you could pet her at night, and it's crazy. Not too much to talk about this chicken, to be honest, other than the fact that she just watched those chickens die, and she just chills with the chickens. She's one of the last chickens to come outside for one simple reason. Because she doesn't want to be attacked. Very smart thinking, I guess. Yeah, this chicken doesn't really have a lot to say because she only lived for a couple months. Let's see. Like 4 months, that's it. Because the chicken really did end up sparking a whole lot of controversy between me and the red-tailed hawk after the hawk killed Candlewick brutally. I was so annoyed. Of course I was annoyed, yo. Other than that, she was the first chicken to get attacked, so of course it kind of desensitized me to the topic of getting chickens attacked. It was a real-life lesson that you need to learn. Because once your first chicken dies, even if they don't really have a lot of importance, it'll definitely feel a bit sad. However, once the next chicken dies, you won't really feel nearly as sad, and so on and so forth. It was a great life lesson, but it really did annoy me, and it still does annoy me a bit to this day. Mrs. Peepers had to probably be the holy grail of chickens, because she was one of, if not the greatest chicken I think I've ever owned in my entire life. You see, back in May 2020, specifically May 3rd, BCT and Chicken Burger got into a little bit of a fight, if you will, and those two really fought it out. So much so that one of them ended up flying, because it was burnt chicken tender that flew and hit Mrs. Peepers, which unfortunately sent her to the emergency room with a very highly life-threatening injury. She broke one of her legs. I would say the survival rate of a broken leg for a chicken is around probably 80% if you treat it, and 20% if you don't. So please, if you can, treat your chicken's broken leg because you'll be thankful a lot later. After doing some x-rays and proper examination, the chicken was sent back home in a spleen and everything else that the chicken needed for recovery. After a while, the chicken did recover, but she had a little bit of a scar on her leg. And you could kind of tell that she had a little bit of a spur like a rooster would, except it's a bit smaller. It didn't really have any growth deficit. Alright, I'm gonna not try to pronounce that word. Deficits on the chicken. So no growth deficits. I keep messing that up. But that's pretty much it. It didn't really mess her up a whole lot, and she never really had a big limp anywhere past then. She would even have the greatest comeback story in recorded history. She would end up becoming the greatest leader of the entire pet flock, and in 2022, she did step down, as I said later, but she was probably one of the greatest leaders. She led the flock in the right direction, and under her rule, there was only one death, I believe. Just one. And it was Sprinkles, and it was something completely out of her control. So if you want a politician, just bring Mrs. Peepers back from the dead, and she'll probably run the country smoothly. Anyways, this video took me like... So, it's that season again. Everyone's going to the store and they're buying chickens and they don't really know what they're gonna buy. So in this video, I'm gonna be providing you with 3 separate breeds of chickens that you should definitely consider buying for this upcoming egg-laying season. You can get all these chickens right now for a decent price, and we might even go as much as 5 minutes in depth with each of these 3 breeds of chickens. So grab a bowl of popcorn and a nice drink, and let's begin. For all the upcoming sessions, we will be covering a multitude of different things for each of these breeds to help you get a better understanding of each of these. I'll use the simplest terms possible for all y'all out there. We'll cover things like eggs, cost, recommended tips and tricks, food consumption, their intelligence, for obvious reasons, and my favorite memories with the chickens for the added bit of relatability. Anyways, let's hop into it. So, we begin our long journey about Buff Orpingtons with eggs. On average, you'll see about 220 to 260 eggs per year. Despite Google telling you about 180 eggs a year, I'd say it's a slight bit higher than that, if not way higher than that, and they're usually a very prolific layer. And they can sometimes overtake the next breed of chicken we're going to be talking about. They lay about every day, except for months like December through February, because, you know, it's really cold. Our Buff Orpingtons like Loudmouth, Cute, and Rogue are beginning to look like they're going to begin laying eggs soon. Although they are turning 4, so I'd expect a bit less from them during the course of the next year or so. And as for when they begin laying, about 18 to 24 weeks old, which is about average for most chickens. And as for the reliability score, that'll be a final of 18 out of 20, or a 90%. Good going, Buff Orpingtons, so far at least. Now, in terms of cost, on average, they cost about, I'd say, $3 to $6. If you find a ridiculously insane breeder, then maybe $8 or $9, but for the most part, they're somewhere between $2 and $6. They're mostly available during the months of January through April, or late July through mid-August, but I will warn you, especially in late July through mid-August, they sell out really quickly. So they finish out with a final cost score of 20 out of 20. Now, be sure to treat them with respect for everyone's sake, but this should go without saying, but the reason why I'm even bringing this up is because if you do treat them with the respect that they deserve, well, you get a really great outcome with it. They're becoming the friendliest chickens you could possibly get. And you want to keep a really close eye on them because they are very adventurous, and with adventure time with chickens comes moron time, and when those moron times comes up, oh, those moron times will come up, and the Buff Orpingtons will turn into the world's largest moron that you've ever seen, and they'll get attacked by predators. Fun fact, we had 15 Buff Orpingtons that we bought for the farm flock, and of those 15, 0 of them remain because they're morons. Try to keep the hen to rooster ratio about 15 hens to 1 rooster. I don't know, this one's like okay. I'm kind of on the line between 10 and 1 and 15 and 1. And try to keep the yard as safe as possible so that way they don't go to moron time. But other than that, their maintenance score is fairly low at 17 out of 20. Now, do Buff Orpingtons have good intellect, or is it about as high as mine when I'm taking a math test? Well, let's check it out. So, they are very intelligent chickens, for the most part. They'll know who is you, they'll know what is dangerous, they don't trust anything they don't trust. But other than that, they can't sleep up, and as I said before with moron time comes out of nowhere and you don't have any time to react, for the final score being 16 out of 20 or 80%. Fairly decent, I'd say. Now these chickens, because they're very friendly and very tame, they are great chickens for making memories. So let me briefly talk about Lovey. She was one of my greatest chickens ever with a ton of lore behind her name. She would oftentimes go up to me, beg for treats, and of course because she's Lovey, I'd give her the treats that she needs. Other than that though, I would say Buff Orpingtons are definitely a great opportunity for making memories. So go get yourself some Buff Orpingtons, and because of how great they are for memories, their final memory score will be a 21 out of 20. And as for their final score total, let's get into that right now. So with everything collectively added up, the total comes out to 92 out of 100 or an A-, which by looking at this graph right here tells you that they are very easy to care for chickens and are very, very, very easy and beginner's level. Anyways, let's move on to the next one, which we'll reveal in just 1 second. The Barred Rock or Barred Plymouth Rock chickens are chickens with black and white feathers that'll definitely be really friendly, and they're personally one of my favorite chicken breeds, so let's review them really quickly. We're gonna go over those 5 things again, so hang on, let me go check my notes really quickly. Alright, let's... Now as for eggs, they usually lay about 230 to 300 eggs per year, on average, and they usually lay all months, besides January usually, sometimes December and February, but for the most part they're one of the first chickens to get right back on track after that. They begin laying at about 20 weeks old, and they're usually the first ones to begin laying. Their all-in-all reliability score is not 20 out of 20 like with the Buffs, but rather 19.5 out of 20 due to certain complications with egg disorders like we had with one of our Barred Rocks in the past flock. Now, Barred Rocks are usually about $4 to $7, which makes them pretty affordable, and they're usually available from January through May, which is a bit better than Buff Orpingtons, and late July through early September. Now, the reason they're only 19.5 out of 20, again, is because their price is slightly higher, but okay, it's not the end of the world, it's just a half-point penalty, no one cares to be honest. Now as for tips and tricks, this one will go without saying. You need to keep them in the yard because just like Buff Orpingtons, moron time comes. And don't worry, moron time will come for the next chicken breed as well. So if you thought these are the only two, nope. And also you need to monitor them for stupid behavior. I put another word in these notes that I'm not going to say for obvious reasons. But you want to monitor them for being the biggest morons, because they will always be fighting for that top spot because they are just competitive like that. So your maintenance score for them will be about an 18 out of 20, which is way better than the Buff Orpingtons because they do not get lost nearly as often. And as for the intellect, they are known to be a moron, but they can also be really smart. But because of their inconsistencies, they're going to be scoring a C on their report card for intellect with a 15 out of 20, or 75%. Not the end of the world, but it could be if the next score is even lower. Now, barred rocks can have the potential in them, so let me talk about Mrs. Peepers in very, very simple terms. Well, Mrs. Peepers, for starters, decided to not really begin, but she was sort of involved with a fight between BCT and Chicken Burger, who would later go down the line form the Burger Twins, who will be discussed on the next. But, of course, the fight ended up getting heated, and unfortunately BCT slammed into Mrs. Peepers, which sent her right to the emergency room. Afterwards, she would end up barely surviving, and not really, she survived just fine, with a broken leg. Afterwards, she would have like a little bit of a spur, but then would have the greatest comeback story in recorded history and lead the pet flock for multiple years. So hey, as I said in the last video, if you want a politician, man, for 2024 like Mrs. Peepers as president, let's see what would happen if that would be the case. Well, here is the final score, and it's 92 out of 100 yet again. Anyways, I am going to go record the final one before I upload this video, so you are almost to the end, my fellow viewer. Ah yes, the Easter egger, one of the most versatile chicken breeds on earth with the biggest potential energy in any chicken ever seen. They lay so many different color eggs. Let's get into them right now. Now we begin off by talking about eggs, which are usually about 190 to 220 eggs per year, which might be a bit on the lower side, and they usually lay all months except for October through January. Now, supply and demand, which kind of might lower the score a bit, and they begin laying anywhere from 18 to 35 weeks old, and because of that's very unpredictable, I lowered the score a lot. But then I realized, they lay so many different eggs, so why can't I give them a little bit of a boost? Before my final score is going to be 13 out of 20. Because of their versatility and it's kind of worth it, 17 out of 20 or 85%. Not saving them from the 65 or the D. Now talking about the cost of things can sometimes be a real pain, but they're usually about $6 to $12. Now keep in mind, these aren't the true Americanas. They go for way more than that. They can go for as much as $169, which was the highest one I found. But there's probably much higher ones. I wouldn't be that surprised if you could find one for like $300, because they're so rare, and they're available year-round, so you could still get them likely off-season for most places. They're the most in stock, actually, when we went to go get our Golden Buffs batch back in late July of this year. Their cost scores can be 20 out of 20. Despite them being on the higher end, they are available a lot more often, which kind of makes it worth it, and the price is also worth it, of course it is. Now I hear you asking, are these literally just the same as the last two? Yeah, moron time again, what did you expect? They are morons. Moron time will continue with just about any other breed of chicken, but these three are very prominent. Their maintenance score is going to be a total of 16 out of 20 because of the similar reasons listed above. That might also come to harm the next one, you never know. So we come to find ourselves about intellect with these chickens. They are very simple chickens, and they just do what they have to do on a daily basis, and for the most part, they're very smart. But then they can be the biggest imbeciles you've ever seen. So for all those reasons and multiple others, such as, but not limited to them being a moron, their intellect score is going to be a total of 17 out of 20. Now, we're going to be talking about memories. Now, I have a really good one I'm going to talk to you about. The formation of the Burger Twins. I gave them the nickname Burger Twins sometime back in maybe early 2022. But to be honest, they were very similar. Burnt Chicken Tender and Chicken Burger were the leaders of those Burger Twins. And because they were the leaders of those Burger Twins, they knew what they were doing. And of course, they would have the funniest things to do. Like pestering us to give us treats, making the loudest sounds possible, and just giving a lot of fun to us. The Burger Twins would be the greatest twins in that flock. There is obviously some more, like Summer and What the Cluck, which only one of those remains, but unfortunately for the Burger Twins, they met a very, very harrowing fate back in the year 2023. On April 7th, whatever day Easter 2023 was, that was when Chicken Burger unfortunately decided she didn't want to be in the game anymore. And then BCT decided on July 20th that she also didn't want to be in the game anymore. What is it with these chickens quitting all of a sudden? Rest in peace to all those that have been lost. And as for today's video, the last chicken of the entire list, the Easter eggers, ended up finishing with a final score of 91%, or an A-. Congratulations to every single chicken that made it onto this video, because these are my personal favorites. I reviewed them but without a bias, obviously. I had to do a lot of research to make this video, so. The series is back after nearly a month of absolutely nothing. We are back with the reviewing every single chicken breed. I'll provide you with 5 more with an in-depth review of each breed. Some of these breeds you may have never heard of. Comment the ones you've heard of below, and comment 5 more that I should review, and I'll respond and see if I've reviewed any of them in previous videos. Anyways, let's go. So first of all, we're going to start off with the Indian game chicken. Believe it or not, this is one of those few chickens I've never heard of before. Even though they're clearly plastered at one of the top results when you search up chicken breeds on Google, I've still never heard of them. Cute. Just because you're not the smartest in this block does not mean you're allowed to eat this paper. Their eggs are a 19 out of 25. Assume anything above 15 is at least half decent. They lay about 180 to 220 eggs a year, which I mean gets the job done, but there's much better chickens, and 220 is pushing it. It's typically closer to 180, if not, probably lower. The reliability is scored a 22 out of 25 on my list here, mainly because they are known to be reliable, although there have been some issues in the past with some breeders, and this is a dual purpose breed, so some chickens may be completely different than others. The roosters are going to break this breed of a 9 out of 25. Do you want to know why I gave the roosters a 9 out of 25? That's because according to a lot of reviews I went through, the roosters are sometimes horrible, sometimes the greatest they've ever seen. Some of them just slack off like Snow White and Falcon and do nothing, but some of them are pretty chill and temperate. Because I would have immediately given them like a 1 out of 25 if it wasn't for the fact that some of them are just fine and others aren't. It seems to be a person ordeal with that one. The enjoyability is a 24 out of 25. At least you have some hens to hang out with. They're pretty cool, bringing their total score up to a 74 out of 100, making that the lowest scoring breed so far. Keep in mind, anything above 70 out of 100 is definitely on my recommendations. If it's below 70, once we get to about 50 to 70, that's when like, okay, you might only want these if you're like really good at keeping chickens, and below 50 is like, no, I'm not really a big fan, I wouldn't recommend them. Well, next up we got the Polish chickens. These are ones I know barely about. I know a little bit about them, just not a lot, so I had to do a little bit of research. Their eggs are a 23 out of 25, scoring pretty strong already. Up to a nice and strong start with that 23 out of 25, already boosting the score pretty high. Going into the reliability is a 24 out of 25 with the Polish chickens. They're known to be fairly reliable, like really reliable sometimes. The Polish chicken roosters scored a 22 out of 25. They're known to be very good and chill chickens. They're just known to be those roosters. And then the enjoyability scored a 21 out of 25. Unfortunately, the hens and the roosters are sometimes similar, and not by like how mean they are, but by how flighty they can be. Do those chickens like puffs and all that whatnot on them? I'm not talking about my chicken puff. I'm just talking about puffs in general. They have a lot of puffy feathers, and it does help them hide just a little bit. And unfortunately, they're a little bit flighty, so it takes a little bit more to tame these chickens. You can't just hand feed them some goldfish and it's gonna become your best friends. Yep, we're talking about that chicken breed. The chicken breed that I've covered a lot on this channel, just haven't really covered in a video like this before. The I Am Samani. I'm pretty sure after about 3 years of trying to pronounce that name, I think I might have nailed it for once. Their eggs are a 13 out of 25, off to not the greatest start. A 13 out of 25 is nearly below 50%. You want to know how many eggs they lay a year? I'll give you 3 options. A, 150, B, 80,
or C, 93. If you answered A, you're incorrect. If you answered B, however, you would be correct. 80 eggs a year, and at that price, sometimes you can find some as low as around $92 to $100. If we're looking at breeding pairs, you can maybe find one at the cheapest at like $2,000, because they are rare. There's only a couple thousand of them left, and they really want them to be put into good hands, which is why their reliability is a 25 out of 25. Typically, if you get these from local hatcheries, they are going to be selling these things as reliable as possible. They want these chickens. People want these chickens to be more reliable, and they are pretty reliable. The roosters are a 24 out of 25. They're going to be very tame roosters that you can walk up to and pet. They don't attack people that much. They're pretty cool roosters. And then the enjoyability is 25 out of 25. Chickens are incredibly tame, believe it or not. Moving on to a breed that all of us can afford now, we have the Sondheimer, which is a German chicken breed, if you couldn't tell by that name. We have the eggs clocking in at 21 out of 25. They lay plenty of eggs, up to 200 a year, which is considered on the lower end of the upper end of the scale. Clocking reliability, we got a 22 out of 25, meaning that they're pretty reliable. The roosters are 23 out of 25. They're very good roosters. They do their jobs, and they typically respect people unless they really don't want to. And then the enjoyability comes into around 24 to 25. They're very, very tame chickens. That is a nice car there. That was pretty cool to end out the clip. We got a the Dodge Challenger passing up the street, man. Gotta love those things. Classical American V8s. Do you know how I love my Buff Orpingtons? Like, a lot. My Buff Orpingtons are like this one right here. But, you know how it's two words, Buff and Orpington? You might be wondering, are there more Orpingtons? Yes, there are. I want to mainly focus in on lavender Orpingtons, because those are the ones I know a second about. But there are many other Orpingtons as well. I'll list a couple on screen right now above you. Hopefully. Their eggs are 24 to 25. This is also, keep in mind, all Orpingtons are just about the same. It's just the Buffs are the ones I have the most experience with. So I sort of just went off the scale of my Buffs. 24 out of 25 is quite the great score for those chickens, man. And the reliability, same thing, 24 out of 25. Nice, reliable chickens. Their roosters, 25 out of 25. As I said with my Buff Orpington roosters I've seen, they're typically really tame, unless you really annoy it. Then they're not cool and tame with you anymore. The enjoyability, 25 out of 25. You know how much I love my Buffs? You know how much I love Lovey when she was still around? Buffs are adventurous, though. That is why they have a lower reliability score. Well, we're back with a brand new day in the life. You may think it's pretty late out right now, but believe it or not, it's literally only like 5:09 a.m. right now. Yeah, I literally woke up just a couple minutes ago. I let out the cat. The alarm clock went out. Oh, what you eating down there, cat? I do have to get on the bus soon, so I'm just going around and checking on the chickens. I'm gonna go grab my bag, put this on the charger because this battery drains pretty quick. As you can see, the automatic door is still closed, so that's not my biggest concern right now. Let's go check on the baby chickens. Now their door down there is probably also closed, and they don't have a rooster, so they're not really making any sound at this time in the morning. So they're already awake, they're doing their thing. Looks like they knocked down the water last night. They're pretty much just fighting in here. As you can hear, they're beginning to cluck. We got them back in August, so they're probably going to begin laying eggs probably sometime in the spring is my guess. I'm not 100% sure, but it's just a guess, an educated one, where they'll begin probably laying in like March or April, just like with our ducks. So yeah, that's all I got for you for this morning. We'll cut to like when I get home at like 2:50. Just gotta go put this thing on the charger and hope and pray I don't forget I'm filming a day in the life like I did last time. So I don't have a phone to put a reminder in, unfortunately, because that broke. So help me reach 4,000 hours, that way I can get myself that brand new phone that I need. So yeah, I just got back home. It's like 2:57, and the first thing I see when I am walking inside, you see it up there? You see that yellow blob up on the post up here? As you get closer, you realize it's a puffed up chicken named Rogue. Obviously she's gonna jump down knowing that I'm filming her right now, but just look at that. Have you ever been this close to a chicken in real life before, though? Be sure to comment that in the comments below. Everyone else is in here except for this one right here, PETA, which you could probably guess what that means. All right, let's get you back in the yard. You shouldn't be out. Stop becoming like the farm flock. We'll check on in just a second. I just need to get this idiot chicken back in her yard where she should be. Come on, bro, let's go. In the yard, buddy, where you belong. There we go, that's about it. Now, a couple minutes ago, all the farm flock chickens were back there, but now they aren't, which is good. They vary between what time they go out at. Typically when they hear noise, they leave the yard to go check and see who could be possibly creating that noise and see if they have any treats to offer. And typically they like to spend the time around here hanging out. And as you can see, that Easter egg right there has learned how to dust bag. These chickens in here are definitely learning what the camera is and that I'm going to be filming here. Are you going to bite it? The chickens are not really as curious as they were. Chickens really aren't as curious as they were originally, but they're still pretty curious about what certain things are. So yeah, I thought Puff was gonna jump up and bite it. What are you doing? You crazy chicken. She bit it. She got it. She got it. I love this chicken, man. I love this chicken Puff, man. Such a good chilled chicken. Does her job, lays her egg, who we originally actually thought was a rooster, but fortunately turned out that she wasn't, and she was just a little bit bigger than the other hens. Now there's another chicken that unfortunately passed away. We also thought was a rooster, but as soon as he started making hen sounds and started ducking down, if they duck down, you 136% know it's a hen. If they're not ducking down and they're not really making the noises that you'd expect out of a hen, you know, the clucking sounds, because you could really tell, because roosters do sometimes make clucking sounds, but it sounds way different than the hens clucking sounds. If you want, I could make a whole video detailing that. I already do have sort of a video up. I mean, I could make another one if you want. Just checking here for eggs. Looks like Loudmouth and Kit Kat are the ones inhabiting this coop as of right now, with 0 eggs as the grand prize. Bite the camera? I guess not. I mean, that's fine as well. So yeah, I'm gonna film a little bit later. Hopefully this video's out tomorrow, or even tonight, I don't know. It's 4:30, and ever since the daylight savings time change went into effect last Sunday, the skies have been turning darker quicker, which unfortunately means that I have less time to film, which means I have to do this tonight. But as you can see, just about all the chickens are up on their respective bars, except for a couple that are getting ready to go to bed and all that whatnot. The farm flock chickens are doing their final routine by gathering everyone, and they're making clucks to locate each other. And occasionally one may go missing for the night, but they'll turn up the next morning. And as you can see, there's a couple that are still out as they get some of the last greens in. And I'll see if they want to go in or not. Are you guys going in or what? Make your choice, buddy. Come on, bro. Make your choice. Alright. Yeah, we're gonna have to move them into a, what's it called? Like, they're gonna have, like, portable coops still. It's just the yards are gonna be spewed across the land, which will make it a little easier, if you will, to move the chickens, because we don't have to move the run anymore. And because the yard, and because they won't be able to escape unless they really, really knew how to use a shovel and how to get their hands on one. And even to get a shovel, they'd still have to escape. So chickens will have quite a bit of fun trying to get it. The amount of predators that'll be able to get into there are little to none. Nothing's gonna happen to the pet flock just yet, unless PETA causes a chain reaction. Now it's about 6:30 p.m. right now. Crazy to think that in 12 hours I'll be sitting on a musty bus and hoping and praying I don't fall asleep. Well, all the chickens are already done. I just figured I'd walk you around the area and show you what we usually do on a day here. I forgot to film all of it because my camera was charging, but we got all of it done. Usually what we do here is check and see how much water is in the waters. We have two provided here. One of them is over there. See that area down there by the house? The other one is here because this one has plenty of water for tomorrow. The other one goes right under the coop right here. Now, before we do any of that, we always have to check the chickens. Usually this door is shut unless it's another day or you're doing the chickens, and they could really be spewed anywhere in the coop. Some may even be in a box. That's just some though. As you can see, others are up on the bar. Those two, since they're lower order chickens, will likely be lower on the bars. And since maybe there's not enough room for 12 chickens, we basically count them all and see which ones are missing. Now, because it's the pet flock, it's way easier to tell who is gone if someone goes missing. So if like Chicka goes missing, you'd be able to tell, because I know those chickens by memory. The old farm flock I also knew by memory. These ones I don't quite yet know by memory though. As you can see down here, we have all the sort of, like, you know, chicken coop necessities that you have. You know, the automatic door, the automatic pull down, things over here, you know. And obviously bringing the waters is a bit more of a longer walk. Sometimes you may even bring out the ATV to do the job out here, although that's only sometimes. Now, to count the chickens, obviously, you open up the door, you go in there. They will be some up on this bar up here, and the rest will usually be on that bar over there. So glad I didn't get hit by that chicken right there. And there will occasionally be one on this top bar, but for some reason that bar, which we used for Kit Kat, Fluff Ball, and Shaving Cream, Rotisserie Chicken, and Unnamed Marin, seems to be the more popular one. Mainly because it's a little bit harder to access, and chickens love stuff that rewards them for some reason. Now if you check up here, obviously, because these chickens think that they're wild animals, we'll occasionally find one stuck up in the tree, and I think I hear one right now actually. Let's give a listen. Well, no, just probably it's just a chicken in the coop though. But usually you'd hear one up in the tree sometimes. Usually it's one of the adventurous Easter eggers that would usually be up in one of those trees. And I could swear I just heard one again. I could swear I hear it somewhere. Oh yeah, I do hear it, yo. This video is gonna go crazy when it's up. Somewhere over here in these bushes. I am right, I'm not going crazy. Or, oh, I see you up there. You're crazy. Bro, it's late at night, bro. I ain't getting a ladder, you're sleeping up there. You're sleeping up there. Why are you up there, chickens? I thought I heard chickens clucking, I just couldn't tell from what direction, so. It looks like Adventures with the Chicken isn't going away anytime soon, because I heard news that there's not just 2 chickens roosting up in a tree, there's actually a 3rd one. So we're going down here into the abyss to to go look for that third chicken and document it. I already made a quick short on the other ones. I'll just like include it sort of as a bundle. Right around here is where, according to them, one random other chicken is roosting. Somewhere around here, going right into these weeds. Supposedly, there's not 2, but 3 chickens roosting up on these trees. Obviously saw those 2, but there's actually a third one somewhere over here. If you follow me in. Yeah, there was a little bit of a jump cut because my camera's being an absolute D-wad right now. And I thought I just heard the third chicken somewhere around here. It's actually higher than the last one, believe it or not. If you look around here, you may be able to see just that very chicken. And you want to know why? Because these chickens being idiots. Well, I can't find it. Thought I saw it or heard it somewhere around here. I think it's one of the Easter eggers. Somewhere up in one of these trees, these old abandoned fruit trees, lays one of my Easter eggers. Let's give a listen. I ain't hearing nothing, so well, I give up, but man, that would make a second entertaining short there, if you will. And that's just about all I got for you for this day in the life.
There are many breeds of chickens, and obviously people will pick favorites as time proceeds, but in this video I gathered the top 10 most popular chickens I think personally. Now, the Brahma chicken is quite the cool little breed of chickens. Very friendly. I believe it should be much higher up on this list, definitely somewhere in the top 5. I can't really have these since the nesting boxes that we have in our chicken coops are a little bit too small, just like another breed of chicken I'll cover later in this video. Although I will say, these chickens were originally meant for meat a little while ago, and then they've been bred to turn to egg layers now, so they're pretty cool little breeds of chickens. I 100% recommend them. They're more to an intermediate level, but they're still pretty cool little chickens. Now next up we got the Silky Bantam, or a lot of people just call them Bantams. Now there's multiple varieties of these chickens, so I'm just going to cover basically the whole variety now. The cool part about these little Silky Bantams is that you either love them or you hate them. A lot of people are intermediate. I'm not really a big Bantam fan, and I call myself a chicken enthusiast. I like most chicken breeds. Bantams just aren't my type. I prefer much bigger chickens that lay me medium to large sized eggs. I know these chickens will probably lay me good eggs, but they just have tendencies to not be as friendly as the bigger chickens. And the roosters are just literally, I don't know why, but I've seen so many people complain about how the roosters are basically bred to be absolute towering morons. But what do you expect out of a chicken breed that's that small? Now next up we got the Black Copper Marin. Now these Black Copper Marins are typically known to be pretty friendly chickens. They're pretty underrated, although I will say number 8 is a fair spot for their pricing. This can go anywhere from like $9 for the rooster, $11 for the hen, all the way up to probably maybe even some people are marking them up like crazy, up to maybe $60, $70, possibly even $80, depending on how rare these chickens are to your area. Now keep in mind, these chickens' price obviously varies, but yeah, they are pretty much worth the price. They lay probably some of the most unique eggs you could possibly ever see. You won't see these color of eggs literally ever again. Now next up we got the ISA Brown. This is just so like much of a horrible spot. I wish these were so much higher up on this list. As for the next one, these chickens are just the chickens that just lay their eggs, don't complain, and then don't go broody, and they're just chill chickens in general. They're really friendly. I have one that survived out of like, I believe the 6 or 7 that were granted to us. Her name is T-Rexa. She's out in the pet flock. She's like probably one of our best layers out there, and she lays no matter what the weather is. Now next up we have the black Australorp chicken. These are just so great chickens. They're basically the defense for the flock against hawks. Even if you have a little bit of an owl figure, they'll help out a little bit with the defense because they're about the same size as a crow. Now here's a little bit of a setback with this chicken, which is why some people hold back on getting them, is their size. Just because they're bred to be about the size of the crow doesn't mean that it comes with some incapabilities, like getting into nesting boxes, which is why I don't have. Now at this point, we're starting to get into those chicken breeds that literally everyone knows exists, and we're going to talk about the Easter egger. Now these are the ones that lay those blue eggs that you can't find at the store for whatever reason. Like, come on guys, just take some notes, egg industry. How about you start raising some Easter eggers, man, and give them some outside time as well, because that'll help improve the egg color and taste. Either way though, these chickens are just great in general. They'll lay you the eggs, they take breaks, like really long breaks, but they're still pretty nice chickens. Now, if you're just getting into the chicken community, or you're just starting to raise some chickens, be ready to hear Buff Orpington, specifically a lot on my channel and fellow channels, because, man, we love our Buff Orpingtons. Specifically my chicken Lovey, who I literally, when she died, dedicated a whole 10-minute documentary onto her. Like, that was crazy. Either way, Buff Orpingtons are, like, the friendliest chicken, and, like, they're, like, my number one recommendation for starters, which is why they're very popular. They're pretty cool, so get them if you can. Now, at this point, this is the last breed of chicken that I actually own on the farm that's in this list, unfortunately, because the last two are very popularized by the industry rather than, like, at home, although they're also really popularized there. Barred Rocks are the black and white striped ones, and they can be really big idiots sometimes, but they're very friendly, and just like the Silver Wyandottes, they seem to be the target for every single predator attack, yeah. Now we're in the final stretch of the video, so comment the number 557 if you're this far, but either way, these chickens are literally in everyone's backyards or in all the stores. If you go to the store, find those white eggs, that is where they are coming from, those white leghorns. They're really good chickens, they're pretty friendly. They're not my number one recommendation, but they're pretty cool. I'll give you that. They're pretty friendly. Maybe not as friendly as the number one on this list, but they're very good chickens. I'd recommend them for like an intermediate to more advanced level though, but they're pretty cool. Welp, we're here, the number one spot, the Rhode Island Red. You 100% know exactly what I'm talking about. Even if you're not a crazy chicken person, even if you have zero background, those eggs you buy from the store are almost always laid by the Rhode Island Reds. If they're those brown eggs, you know exactly what eggs I'm talking about. These chickens are just the extreme definition of chickens. Like, some people, when they think of chickens, this is the first or even second breed they think of. Like, sometimes when you say chicken, instead of like actually think about the food chicken, you actually just think about the Rhode Island Red before you actually think about, like, you know, cooking a chicken on the grill or something like that. That's how mainstream these chickens are. They're big in the industry, they're big in people's backyards. Trust me, just about every person, all my friends that like have chickens always happen to have at least 3 of these. Some of them have their flocks actually mainly comprised of these Rhode Island Reds, which is absolutely crazy. Well, do you want to know what else is pretty crazy? The fact that you're still watching this must mean that you, like, really enjoyed this video. You're watching to the end just to, you know, hate, you know, that's pretty respectable as well. I don't really care that much. Either way, be sure to click the like and subscribe if you haven't already, because I would greatly appreciate it. And also, the video on the screen. You already know what time it is, chickens. You already know what time it is. If you haven't already, click the like button. Yeah, that's all I ask for. Yeah, cute chickens. Enjoy the stream, everyone. I'm gonna move it to there so you can see more of the chickies. Look, screw you. Stay put. Stay put. I swear, if I come out here in 5 minutes because you fell over, I'm gonna be so mad. Door open so it can easily get in here if it falls over you. Really? Seriously. I'm not joking. I'm not. There's chicken crap all over my camera now. I dropped my camera, yo. I'm only a minute into the stream and it already landed in a pile of chicken crap, which sucks.
So this is gonna be a little bit different than my typical style of content over here, but I just wanted to make this video for two reasons. Number one, to bring word about chickens and how you should get them, and number two, to give an update on my 19-week-old chickens. Let's go. Alright, so I just came out. I'm gonna shake this right here, and you already can see the excitement in Loudmouth's face. So I'm gonna open up the fence for Loudmouth, obviously, so she can get back in, because she knows that I only feed the chickens that are in here. They try to get Kit Kat up from over there. Oh well, Kit Kat only listens when Falcon calls over, so there you go, chickens. And if anybody wants to get those later, you can. So while we're watching them eat up some of these really cool goldfish, I figured I'd talk a little bit about chickens and why they're really underrated. So do you want to know how much fun I have when I'm feeding my chickens? Yeah, it's a whole lot. So basically, they're very low maintenance animals, as you probably already know. They don't require too much work. Like, yeah, they do require definitely a little bit of work, but not like a whole lot of work. Like, yeah, they definitely are not, to say the least, definitely do require some maintenance. So I already talked about that a little bit. Also, chickens really are soothing. If you're wondering, I can pet some of these chickens, man. Some of these chickens are some of the most friendliest and caring chickens. And some of them are the most utter moronic chickens. Specifically this rooster. I'd say my experience with chickens is overwhelmingly positive. My experience with roosters is decent. Like, yeah, Waldo was a really good rooster. Falcon, absolutely garbage rooster. And Snow White was an entire landfill. So, yeah. These chickens are really cute, I will say. They are definitely some chickens that I definitely want to have again. These chickens, we have, so if you are wondering, we have 12 chickens in this flock and 26 chickens in the farm flock. Some of these chickens were from the original farm flock that we combined because of the amount of attacks that have been happening. So I figured I'd introduce you to the chickens over here real quick. So the ISA Brown, who is unofficially named T-Rexa, right over there. That's my ISA Brown. Kit Kat is right there. She's an Easter egger. That's Abs. Loudmouth I already introduced you to. Cute is the chicken right next to her. That's PETA, which I'm pretty sure you can guess. PITA. I'm pretty sure you guess what that stands for. That's Falcon. Summer's right behind her, the black and white one. And Gold is right there. That's another unofficial name. Rogue is right there. Back there is, yeah, Chicka. That's some weird name, I know. And yeah, Fluffball is right over there. She's a cross between a Marin and an Easter egger. Keep in mind, Easter egger hen and Marin rooster is how you can get a chicken like Fluffball. She's an olive egger, and she's about a year old, so she's laying these eggs consistently and very well. Alright, so now we're going over to those chickens over there that are just about 20 weeks old at this point. I made a massive calculating error when I said they were like 12 weeks old, like a long time ago, like a couple weeks ago. Yeah, I miscalculate a whole lot. So basically, these chickens are, I'd say, around the age of laying. Most chickens start laying eggs around like 20 to 26 weeks, so maybe in like a week or two is when we're gonna get these eggs. Now they're just starting to get used to the new life outside, because they lived in a meat chicken run, because we didn't want them in here because of how small they were compared to the holes. And you can see I've gotten used to feeding them goldfish, and they know exactly what's coming for them whenever they hear the sound. So there's your treats. I figured I'd introduce you to some of these chickens. You see those two white Easter eggers? Those two are my personal favorites. One of them way more friendlier than the other. I'm pretty sure you can tell which one is the friendlier one. It's the more puffed up one. So I think it's this one right here. So this one right here, the one that I can easily touch. Keep in mind, at like 19 weeks old, your chickens are just starting to accept the fact that, hey, you're cool and chill. So some of the chickens will react by, oh, you can pet me now, you can pick me up, you can do whatever the hell you want with me. And other chickens are like, you can feed me, I'll say thank you, and that's the most you'll ever do, because I'm not allowing you to pick me up. That's what a lot of the chickens, and also some of the cinnamon queen chickens, which are those ones that are almost like ISA Browns, but not really, are definitely some of the most chill chickens. They're not nearly as friendly as those puffy chickens though, which don't have names. I don't think any of these chickens have official names, like, at all. So these chickens are doing really well, and I'd say we're gonna get an egg any day now. So I figured I'd show you around the yard, talk about these chickens, why I'd recommend them, and everything. So we got these chickens back in April. around April of 2023, so they're not that old actually. We got them like late April. I'd say they're around like 19 or 20 in human years. So yeah, I'm telling those chickens that there's food. You can see nobody's in here, which is good. You might saw the short I put out a couple days ago where I said that there were some chickens sleeping in the nesting box, and while the roosting bars were there, don't you worry, everybody's gotten used to the roosting bars. Now, if you're wondering about roosters, we're picking up a barred rock rooster, hopefully in like 2 to 4 weeks. But we want to have them laying eggs first, so that way the rooster, who is probably a little bit older than the chickens, can quote-unquote adapt to them. Barred rock roosters are well known to be really tame, really friendly, really just good roosters in general. So that's why we chose out the barred rock. Keep in mind, these are full-grown roosters we're about to get. And also, I figured I'd shamelessly announce that we're getting 20 more chickens soon. So we're gonna have 47 chickens in this flock. We're getting 20 new chickens, 8 Easter eggers, 6 green queens, and 6 golden buffs. I originally said we were gonna get 6 well summers, but unfortunately they're not okay. They're not in the hatchery at the moment. So we're gonna have to wait till spring to pick up our well summers, which I'd probably get like 10 to 15 of them. We once actually had a well summer in this flock before she passed away during the massive coyote attacks a couple weeks ago. And why would I recommend chickens to you, viewer watching this video? Somehow you're this far in. They're just entertainment at its finest, man. So basically, it's the entertainment that pays you in eggs. Now on to the most asked question of the video. Why are chickens so underrated? See, a lot of people think chickens are the definition of just boring. They just sit there, do nothing, and they're better off living in a cage. If you say that, I swear you're like actually genuinely wrong. And that's one of the opinions I say is blatantly wrong. So, see, living with chickens isn't actually that boring. You can, I mean, yeah, living with them between the ages of like 6 and 13 weeks is very boring because they run away from you, they're unfriendly, but once you get past 13 weeks and they start like clucking, they're gonna get really good around you and they're gonna love you and everything, especially if you start feeding them treats. And when you move them outside to a much larger run, the reason we didn't move them out to the run immediately was because of their size and the fence size. And also considering we had a massive fence at the time and the farm flock chickens were a lot less tame than the pet flock chickens. So we had to make sure that these chickies were safe. And of course, the coyote attacks were not at all planned, because if I were to do anything to stop them, they wouldn't have happened. Basically, these chickies are just fine out here, and we're actually working on getting a tree stand that we can set up in one of these trees over here and use the chickens to get the coyote to come. Fortunately, there's only been a couple cases of these chickens escaping. On the first day of them being out of the coop, there was like, I'd say about maybe 5/8 of them right over there, and then there was that one short I released that got like 1K views that had like the chicken flew over the fence and landed on one of those trees, and yeah. So yeah, I'd recommend chickens for their eggs, entertainment, and low cost. As long as you can have them, obviously. If you can't have them, yeah, don't try to fight it. That's why I'd recommend buying some.
The series is back, and it's going to be in video essay form, not from here on out, but just for this video alone. So sit back, relax, grab your popcorn, because we're reviewing 5 separate chicken breeds today that will hopefully make your opportunity of buying chickens a little bit more easier. Now, the first breed we're going to be talking about are the Marans. Now, I know you're like, oh, you've already reviewed black copper Marans on the channel. What do you mean more Marans? Well, there are definitely more than just black copper Marans to talk about, because there's a lot of sub-breeds of Marans, and let's take a look at them. Black copper Marans are just one of the subspecies of the Maran group, if you will. Alright, that was the most random thing I've ever said, but eggs are going to be a solid 19 out of 25. They don't lay too many of them, but of course, it makes up for them in enjoyability, scoring about a 23 out of 25 or 92. The reason is quite simply because they are just absolutely friendly. You'll love them. I have black copper Marans. All Marans are about the same, so I'd give this about the same score for all of the other chickens. As for reliability, 24 out of 25. They're very reliable. The roosters are known to be really gentle and pretty tame all in all. And the overall score I'm going to give them is a 22 out of 25. They are lacking in some departments, but make up for it in others, so I'll give them about an 88%. That, believe it or not, is actually the overall score of all 4 of them combined, which gives me an easy to intermediate level range, which if you don't know, it's on the screen right now. Now next up we got quite the interesting breed of chicken, and you're like, Who is the Shamo? Well, the picture on the screen previously in the transition was obviously the Shamo. And already, I'm not the biggest fan of them because of their looks, but I don't really want to judge a chicken by its looks because they could definitely have different qualities. Well, let's take a look at how their score holds up against that statement. Already off to a bad start, kicking it off with a 6 out of 25 for the eggs. Something almost unheard of. That is literally a failing grade if we're counting it as a grade, but we're not going to count it as such. Now, that does make up a little bit for enjoyability, but the hens are very flighty. They do tolerate people really well, according to my notes. It's just they don't really like other chickens of their same, gender that much. So that's why I'm giving them a 19 out of 25 for that. Their reliability could be better. 17 out of 25. That's like a 72. Actually, 68%. So that's not terrible. I mean, yeah, it could be better. And then the overall, let's give them an 18 out of 25. Not really of the greatest. Now, do we have a new lowest score? Yes, 60 out of 100, unfortunately, for these chickens, which is quite sad because they have so much potential. Better luck next time. Now, I just previously talked about a chicken breed that, well, definitely could be a bit better. Now, I guess we'll talk about a chicken breed that could definitely be a whole lot worse. We have the Padovana. I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing it incorrect. I know it's an Italian chicken. And also, if you're wondering, it looks the same as a Polish chicken, except they have beards like Easter eggers, so they technically belong to the Americana family. Anyways, enough rambling. Their eggs start off with a 19 out of 25. Alright, we're definitely starting off to a better score. Could be a bit better, but yeah, it could be worse. Now, this definitely makes up with the enjoyability and reliability, both becoming a 25 out of 25 for each, respectively. Which means this is truly a chicken of all time. And I personally believe, from what I've done my research on, they have a lot of good causes, enjoyability. They're really enjoyable. They're probably one of the most tame chickens around people, just like Polish chickens, I believe I said. The reliability, they're very reliable. And as a matter of fact, the reason why I put reliability so high is because these chickens are born in a specific way where if there was a rooster, you could tell because of the color. Now, because of this, I'm going to give it a 25 out of 25. The chickens are very easy to decipher. So, do you think I got above a 60? We'll look at the score below. 94 out of 100. Of course it's above a 60. What did you expect? Well, next up, I hear you guys saying, oh, this is literally just a barred rock. Well, listen here, buddy. In my opinion, there are some subtle differences, even if you don't realize it. So, calm down, little bro. Anyways, let's talk about these scores. The eggs already up to a good start, clocking in at a 23 out of 25. I mean, we are currently off to a very good start with the chicken breed. And then, the enjoyability, a little bit lower, but still reasonable. Like around average, what you'd expect. They're not terribly flighty. They're a bit better than barred rock. They're a bit worse than barred rocks, which is one subtle difference. The enjoyability clocking in at a 17.5 out of 25. But the reliability, on the other hand, really reliable chickens. Definitely ones that'll help you through the tough times. 25 out of 25. The overall, I'm going to give them a solid 20.5 out of 25 due to some specific other things going on with the chicken and because they remind me of barred rocks, and barred rocks are literally one of my favorite chicken breeds. Barred rocks, I don't care what you do. I'm 100% biased that they're a 10 out of 10 chicken breed. 86 out of 100 is the final score for this chicken breed, believe it or not. Now, just a quick spoiler alert, this is going to be one of the greatest chicken breeds you've never heard of, clocking in with above a 60 out of 100, trust me. Their eggs are going to start off with a 25 out of 25, already going strong for the chickens, with the enjoyability also clocking in fairly high at 22 out of 25, bit average around that point. The reliability is also a 24 out of 25, which, I mean, is pretty cool, I'd say they're definitely pretty good chickens, and I definitely give them the benefit of that. Now, the eggs, as I forgot to mention, they are actually dual purpose, which really makes them a really good, reliable chicken breed. They have good reliability scores, and I'd say, because they're dual purpose, you can raise them for both meat and, of course, for eggs, which really makes it a whole lot easier on you. And the overall is a 25 out of 25, because they could definitely be really cool and cute chickens. Total score, 96 out of 100, making it now the highest scoring chicken breed on this list. Alright, well, it is Tuesday today. We are talking about how do I care for the chickens during these wintry weather.
Well, today we got like 3 inches of snow. Not today, but like the other day, we did get about 3 inches of snow. You can tell by how much snow is visible. And today I'm going to show you some tips and tricks for caring for your chickens in this snow. We're going to go over all the basics and everything in between, so be sure to stick around and like and subscribe. Let's go. The first thing you got to understand is your chickens will be spending a bit more time in the coop more than anything else because they don't really want to go outside. Let's count them real quick, just for the sake of it. We got everyone. Yep. So when winter weather like this arrives around the horizon, it's over the horizon. Well, take a look at this. This is all you really need: a waterer, and that. And I would definitely recommend an automatic door if you haven't already put one in there. If you want, I could do an installation video soon, but that would be a bit more complicated, and I probably won't be able to keep it. Now, as for the coop, you don't need to make any specific modifications. Ventilation, that's one good thing though. Ventilation does help regulate temperatures. Now I will say, don't use a space heater if you want to heat your coop. Use something known as a heat lamp. If you know how to install it properly, you want to keep it away from your chickens and also keep it away from the shavings. Those are the tips for installing heat lamps. Now the next thing we got is shoveling the outside of the coop. And I'm going to show you what you can do for this. So you're going to take a shovel. Any size will do. It can be like this, it could be smaller, it could be bigger. As long as it can shovel some snow, you'll be good. And what you're going to start is find the area where your chickens get out and shovel that first. So the ramp would be my first target destination. And what you want to do is you want to put your shovel on the grass. And as long as it's not too icy, just begin shoveling. Now, you're not going to get every single inch of the snow off of the grass, but this is an example, so I'm not going to really do a lot here. So you're going to shovel it around. And you want to shovel a path into their main area. If you want to find another area they like, you should keep note of this right before the winter storm hits. And you're going to want to this is another area they like. Then you want to shovel around the area where they have their food at usually. So it's usually right by the coop. Because most people keep the exterior food by the coop. You want to keep it, you want to keep most of the food in the coop, but you also want to keep it out of the coop for a good while as well. Now that I showed you the basics of snow shoveling in the chicken yard, now it's time to go a little bit more advanced with that. If it looks like the snow will stick for a while, which in 2022, yeah, we had snow that fell in early January. We got like a foot of snow in January, and that snow didn't melt off until early April. And what we did was we put some, not early April, early March. We've never had snow that lasted that long. But like we would put like shavings on the snow, but only if the snow is going to be on the ground for more than a week. If it's going to be on the ground for like 2 days before a big old-fashioned rainstorm moves in, then it's not really necessary to put shavings because the chickens can handle a couple days inside. Now, you also want to keep in mind that some chickens are more adventurous than others. Some are built more made for this type of weather than others. You'll notice certain breeds of chickens will decide they're going to be more adventurous than other breeds might decide they want to be. So keep that in mind when you're selecting chicken breeds as well. If you live in a wintry area, my top 3 recommendations are what they always are: Buff Orpington, Barred Easter Egger. All of them are really good at sustaining that internal body temperature, which for chickens is like what, 105, 106 degrees. I don't know that one off the top of my head, but I'll probably know it when I Google it for the sake of this video. Now, bringing them food is quite simple. You want to shovel a path out to their yard, but if it's a lot of snow, you can snowblow. That's a cheat code you could use. As long as you find a way to get into their yard to get the snowblower in there, be my guest. You don't have to use a shovel. Now, you want to get a path out there so you don't get your shoes wet. Because if you have a really wet snow like what we have out here, this fell at 34 degrees. So this is ridiculously wet, and it's like really, like when you step on it, oh, it's going to be really cold, miserable. So that's one thing you got to keep in mind, is the temperature of the snow too. And you want to get that path out there. And as for food and water, You want to take that water out there, you want to put it into the coop, like so, and you're just going to want to put the food in there too. You do want to leave some outside of the coop, just in case a chicken gets trapped out there, but then I'll show you what to do for the evening. It's the evening hours, and you finally get outside in your freshly powdered snow. Let's just say you got 8 inches of premium powder. This is like, if snow had subscription plans, this would be the free version. The snow that we got a couple weeks ago would be like the mid-grade version. And that winter storm we got in 2022 would be the premium plus package. And the 2013 blizzard would be the absolute maximum. That was like 50 inches of snow, if I remember correctly. Now you want to get out there, let's just say you got the 8 inches of fresh powder. You want to maybe just wear some boots, because who wants to get outside and actually use their snowblower at night? No one in their right mind would. So you want to check around the coop first, because some chickens might get out. Check their usual hiding areas, check their usual areas around the coop. Check outside of the yard too, because sometimes some snow mounds, and if it drifts enough and then it freezing rains, which it's very uncommon because drifty snow is like 20 degrees, freezing rain's like 31, 32 degrees. If that happens, then so be it. The chicken flies over the yard, go get it. Then you want to count them once you got everyone done. You want to double count them, because sometimes you'll count 2 chickens as one, or you might skip a chicken because you just want to get out there. Then you want to keep the food and water in there, and you want to replace it for the morning. But you want to take the ones that are outside of the coop into the area where you normally store your food and water. Now, if this video was helpful, I'm very glad it helped you a bit, because looks like there's not going to be any winter storms here for a while. It's a nice little goodbye to the snow for a good while. Anyways, be sure to click the video on the screen, guys. I am leaving here right now. It's cold out here, man. I don't know what else to say. It's like 19 degrees. Anyways, I'm out. Subscribe.